Scruffy friends, it is Melinda here with you today. Thank you ever so much for joining me for my latest share. This one is for Colour Blast, and as you can see, I am working with the October challenge, which is all about the angles. It does say to do triangles in the background. My design I wasn't really sure where I was going with this, but I was really inspired by this cut file, so that's what I've decided to use. As you can see, that's a photo of myself from my wedding day, and before I got to this point, I picked out obviously that background paper and the papers I was going to use to back those triangles that the photo's not going to be behind, and the hibiscus flowers just didn't really work with the range that I had chosen to use. So I'm just trimming those off, but I could see they'd be a lot of fun on a more tropical fun page rather than my wedding day, which had nothing to do with hibiscuses or cocktails. I'm just starting by adding my photo behind that biggest triangle. I'm going to pop that to the side. I try to trim it before the glue's dry, and because I tried to trim it, the glue all unstuck, so I have to re-stick it. I was originally going to use the 3 of these papers, and you'll see here I kind of go, I might just use that one floral. The floral has all the colours in it, and it doesn't make it too busy, and it's very pretty and elegant. So maybe not elegant, but it's very pretty. So I decided to just go with that one to back the other 3 triangles. Just picking the colours that I want to use. I wasn't really, like I said, I wasn't really sure where I was going with this background. But once I started applying colour, I kind of went a different direction than what I thought I would. I thought that there would be more in the background than what there ends up being. So I pulled out the colour paste in Deep Water, Blush and Punch, and then the same 3 colours in the Colour Shimmer Spray. And then I think next out I pull out my Colour Shimmer cubes and pots. Yeah, I've got Blush, I've got Punch, and I also pull out Steel. I do not have the Deep Water in that colour. Not sure why I'm showing you them twice. Just lucky, I guess. And I'm just showing you all of those products. Like I said, I wasn't really sure where I was going with this. Pulled out my gesso. I'm going to activate those watercolours, leave those sit. I'm going to, so I think first I apply my gesso. First I use a spatula, and then I just use my finger. There was a blob in there. Use my finger and just smudge it all around. I have super sped this part up because it did take me a while, and you don't really need to watch me go slowly and do this. My base today is plain, not textured, pink cardstock, which is really unusual for me. I'm not a big fan of not textured cardstock, but this was the colour that I wanted to use, and it's how I had it, so I ran with it. If you're curious, I think it's a Stampin' Up colour. I'm not sure which colour. I've had some Stampin' Up stuff in my stash for a very, very long time, so yeah. As you can see, I just plonked a pile of gesso in the middle of where I knew the gesso was going to be, and I'm just using my finger to dip into that, spread the colour around a bit more, add it where I want it, and I'm just putting the photo back to check where it's at. That's all dried. I'm going to trim out my photo, and I've decided that I really don't like backing files this way. It's much easier for me to trace and cut rather than stick and then cut. I was just really concerned I was going to cut something that I shouldn't. So I'm going to grab the paper that I'm going to use and just trace around the insides of those triangles, trim them out with my scissors, making sure I leave enough of a border that I can stick them down. The paper that I decided to use is from Pretty Little Studio. I can't remember what collection that's from, and I bought it in a card kit. It also came with a couple of the ephemera packs that go with this same collection, and that's what I decided I was going to use for this page. So I'm just using my Scotch tacky glue to stick that down. As you can see, the triangles kind of blend into the background there, but I knew I was going to add some colour, and I've just started. I think this one is the blush, which is the lighter pink. And I start with the packaging technique. You can see I'm just putting colour on the page. And then I wasn't getting quite enough colour, so I've dipped the paintbrush straight into the pot, put the brush onto the page, and then added water. Just gets the colour to move a bit more. You can see I use my heat gun and some paper towel. And I just go back and forward until I'm happy with how the colour's looking. So I've got a pot of water so I can clean my paintbrush. And I'm going to go in now with the punch, which is the darker of the pinks. Now, the more water you add to these colours, the lighter the more watercolory it is. One of my favourite things about this product is the variation you can get in the thickness and the colour. I really like the splatters that I get using these when there's not a ton of water added, and so that's what I'm going to end up doing. I've just done the packaging technique with the paintbrush and the water again with the punch. Clean off my paintbrush. Now I don't have the deep water in a shimmer pot. Desperate to get my hands on one. So I'm using the colour spray. You can see I tried to spray it, but I think that I need to clean the nozzle. Nothing's coming out. So I just, this is how I start doing it, adding a little bit of colour to my packaging. And then I mush it down. I'm like, there's not much colour there. So I end up going straight in with the nozzle of the bottle, adding a few drops, using the packaging to mush it around. And then on the other side, this is actually quite entertaining. So I start with a few drops and then I'm like, this isn't working very well. So I go in with the paintbrush with some more splatters, make it really extra wet with water, spread colour where I don't want it. Then I go back in with the paintbrush, a bit more colour. So I'm just getting it to the point where I want the depth of colour that I've got. So this is a little bit later on. As you can see, I added some splatters as well. I thought I showed you, but obviously I didn't. As I said, I just used the same colours to splatter in the same areas. Now once this was all dry, I kind of went, I don't really feel like I want to add anything else to my background here. So I'm gonna deviate a little bit from the challenge here and leave it as is. I decided that my title Beautiful was blending in a little bit too much, so I grabbed this, I think it's called an all pencil or something, and I just lightly traced around the edges where I want the shadows, and I showed you that really fine, I almost called it a toothbrush, really fine paintbrush. I'm just blending those lines out a little bit, and you'll see once it's all done what a difference that makes. It gives the title and the triangles a little bit more depth once it's all stuck down. So I'm just using a little bit of water and just moving that colour around a little bit. So how are we all? I know that I have been a bit absent with my pages. Life has again still been a bit crazy. You can see there I am just showing you the silver stitching I did, and I'm going to give you a close-up of all that background. I'm going to add some foam. I think I've super sped this part up as well for you. And I think I leave the whole process in for you to watch. You're so lucky. I'm just cutting bits of foam to fit behind my triangles, and I do leave the word beautiful kind of hanging in space, but that's okay. I know that the rest of the layers aren't going anywhere, so I'm quite happy to just leave it as it is. It's like a jigsaw puzzle, finding the right piece for the right place. Sorry, normally I wouldn't make you watch this. I thought I'd cut it out. It's okay. So yeah, just cutting all that foam down. Decided I was going to add some silver thread to the bottom right hand side there. You can see I've pulled out the ephemera pieces that I think I want to use. And I'm going to start gluing everything down. Starting with that thread. I'm going to tuck my flowers. So there's only really going to be one embellishment cluster right where I'm working now. I'm just going to tuck my flowers under there, glue them down, glue that triangle down. And I'm quite happy just eyeballing it, hoping that it's straight enough, because straight enough is good enough. And glue the rest of my triangles down, making sure that the shadows are where the shadows are meant to be. And using my colour pastes as weights. Gluing down a couple of little sentiments there. At this point I decided that I was not happy with that thread there. You can't really see it, but here we go. Yank it out. Glue, glue, glue. Don't want anything coming apart. Here is some close-ups on the video. Heading into some close-up photos. If you would like more information, head over to the blog. It will be linked in the description box below. Also, where you can purchase all the products. As always, thank you ever so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate all of the likes, all of the comments. Welcome to all of my new subscribers and to all of the new Colour Blast subscribers. You've got till the end of the month to enter yourselves into the Colour Blast Challenge. Just head over to the Facebook page and you'll be able to find the album, which I will also link in the description box below. And I hope that you have a fantastic scrappy weekend. I will see you in the next video. Bye.